Hello, everybody. Welcome to epilogue. This is the episode 64 of I Just Got My Kid to Sleep. I'm Michael Pasek. I almost recorded this last night. Did you know that about me? Did you know that I laugh because I feel like my son talks like that. Like he'll say something that I know, that we all know we know, and then I'll be like, "Did you know that about me?" Maybe that's just what I hear. I don't know if maybe I don't. When you hang out with someone a lot, you start talking like them, and I guess maybe I made it my own a little bit. But anyway, I almost did this last night after my kid went to sleep. That was the plan. Okay, the best plans are intentions, a road paved. Follow the intention-based road. Um, Last night I was on an airplane with my son, and we got delayed for 3 hours. You know when you're like in a place and like if someone were to tell me I'd be in the Denver airport for 3 hours, I'd be like, well, we should go. We should go away and never ever fly through here again. But they didn't tell me that. Originally it was like an hour and well it wasn't, it was 4.5 hours. Originally it was an hour and a half layover, and then they got delayed like an hour, and then 2 hours, and then 3 hours. And then it was just like we were just there. And I have so much stuff, because Jack is 6 and we went straight from school. So I just backpacked from school, which I probably should have put in the checked bag. This whole time I was lugging this stuff. I was like, next time we're not even bringing this bag. We're not even bringing this bag. And I was like, oh, I could have just put it in my checked luggage. And I didn't. That would have changed everything. Because I had that bag. I had my backpack with my work materials. I had and then another backpack with like extra clothes and stuff just in case we had to stay over, which we didn't. But you ever do that where you prepare for something that's kind of not fun and you're like, I hope it happens because I'm ready. I was so ready to stay at that hotel. I was like, man, we're close because it got delayed to like 8. And I was like, man, Burbank doesn't let you land after 10, but they did. They did let us land after 10. The only positive of the whole experience. Well, like maybe you've experienced this with people. I think this is a people thing, not just a parent thing. But like if you're hanging out with somebody and you're in a situation where things keep getting extended, do you like see that as a time like, oh, I could spend time with you, or is it just like on your phone? Because like we got food, we ran around. Jack had a scooter that scared me. This scooter, oh my gosh, like more than any horror movie ever has. Is like if you've never been to the Denver airport, it's like there's A, B, C, right? Terminals. Someday I'd like to see an airport where they're just like, we're going to start with Q. This is terminal Q. The next one's V, and then it's G. You got to figure it out. But there's A, B, and C, and you go on a little train. It goes bum ba bum 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 bum. That is horrible impression. It's like a country raw mountain, like a upbeat John Denver little melody. Ba 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 ba. But it's like doors closing. And so you get on there and then you go to the thing. And then once you get to your A, B, or C or terminal, you just go. It's like a straight line. You either go right or you go left. It's like 1 to 66 was Southwest. And Southwest, by the way, half of the terminal is brand new, super nice, really awesome. And then the other half is just like, oh, I didn't know I was taking the train. Like it felt like a train station. Not to judge train stations, but there's something about when you have to like check a bag where things should be nicer. I don't know. Can you check a bag? I think you can check a bag on a train. But anyway, it's just like a straight runway, and part of it is carpeted, which is great for. Jack has a scooter suitcase. I don't know if you've followed every episode. Jack has a scooter suitcase. We were at a TJ Maxx when he was 4, which I don't know if that's a good age for a scooter. When did you get your first scooter suitcase? Chime in the comments. So I don't think they were invented when I was a kid. Also, I didn't ever travel. Not because I didn't want to. Just my parents were like, we're driving and we're putting our stuff in the car. There's no scootering on your suitcase. I've seen the suitcases where you can drag the kid, where it's like a seat for the kid and it's a suitcase. And when I see those people, a little bit, no offense if you're those people, I think it's a great idea. You're doing great. But like it alleviates a little bit because at least my kid's getting exercise. He might, murder someone in the process. He was going as fast as he could on that scooter. And it's weird, like if he's 6, right? If he was like 5 years older, it'd be like, we're getting arrested right now. Like you can't skateboard through the airport. But he's 6 and everyone is just, I'm sweating it because the carpet area, a lot of it is carpeted, the old part. And that's because there's some friction, there's some resistance, some like he can't go as fast as he can. It's like, we did watch the Indy 500 on Saturday and he had never seen the Indy 500 before. And, we went on Sunday, we went to church with my parents. We went to Buena Beef. Shout out. Oh man, we're getting off, but off track, the Buena Beef. We went to a White Sox game on Friday and they won, and they have a race of Buena Beefs. And it's like hot and spicy, cheesy. And then the red one, sorry, Red, I don't remember your name. And you get a little, a coupon thing when you walk in the door, and then it has your guy on there. And if he wins, then you get a free Buena Beef. Buona Beef, Buona. And it's, and Jack was into the game too, but when that came on, I was like, this is for kids. I'm going to point it out. So we watch on the screen, the Beefs win. He's cheering for green because he has green, and he wants to know that everyone else around him doesn't have green, so he can cheer against somebody. That's how much of a competitor he is. Yeah, what now? Jordan didn't talk to his roommate after Monopoly. My son wants you to lose the Buena Beef race, even though we're all more likely to go if we all win. So green wins, which on that night in Chicago, they said attendance was 18,000, I think, but I think it was kind of low. I think it was all greens. I think it was just like we wanted, because you have to buy a drink and a fries. I'm not against drink and fries purchases. I like the deal. I like the fun of it. But if you go to a White Sox game, you win the Buena Beef. I don't want you to be like Michael Palsek said. I get a free Buena Beef because free. You gotta buy fries and a drink. Anyway, so we go on Saturday. We don't get Buena, and then Jack remembers. Oh, we got to get these sandwiches, and and so Sunday comes around, and it's the last day. You have 48 hours. This is all about just deals. And so we go there and we get our sandwiches. We come home. My dad turns on the 8500 and he's like, "What is that?" And he immediately picks out his favorite, and he sticks with that favorite. It's number 33. He kept calling it 30 because he's in kindergarten, even though he knew it was 33. After a while, like later on, he would be like, "Oh, that was 33," but he would just be like, "Go 30, go 30." And if you don't know about the Indy 500, it's 500 miles, I think, not laps. Come on, guys. Where do you know about stuff? 500 laps, and we started watching at lap 40. And he was just like, go 30, go 30. And it was just like, when you think about a 6-year-old and what they have going on in their brain, there's not a lot to occupy it. So when something's in there, he's just like, this is it. They had the rankings on the screen for a little bit, and then they took it off, and he was so upset at Fox. Like, he hated the NFC for that, for all that Fox does NFC football games. He doesn't. He's fine. He's a Rams fan. But I had to pull it up on a phone so he could track it. And then I was leaving because I had to go to a show and I had to drive a ways, which is always kind of fun as a parent. When you see what you're leaving the people watching your son with, it's just like, oh, he's going to be screaming, go 30 for like 2 more hours. And I could see it in his eyes. Sometimes you see a kid get into something and it's like, oh, he's going to like get tired of this. But that, what I realized? It was like Mario Kart, but real life. Because when I was a kid and Mario Kart came out, that was after, like there was racing before. But for him, he was like, Mario Kart, that's only racing. And then he was like, people do this too? Like that's what I saw in his eye. He didn't say that. That's what I'm projecting. But people can be, where are the shells? And then he would see them crash. He's like, oh, that's better. Like, not better for the people, but anyway. Where was I? So anyway, we watched the Indy 500, or he does, with my parents. I took off, and my aunt, and then then we're going through the Denver airport. I'm like, he's in the Indy 500 right now. He's like, I'm racing you, which is an awkward place as a parent because, I want him to be safe, and I want all the people around him to be safe, and I think it's unfortunate, but the main thing that is a priority for me is for everyone else to think I'm doing a good job as a parent, which isn't. It should be safety first. It should be, but I just don't want people to see my kid streaking by on a scooter, narrowly missing elderly people, and be like, "Who's the dad?" Get dad out of here. And I just feel like in the carpeted area he wasn't because he couldn't go that fast. But then he'd hit that new what's it called? Non-carpeted area in the southwest turn, which is very nice. There's a lot of space. I really like it. And he was just going, and I'm just sweating. Like, I know you're supposed to be like I just shouldn't let him do it if it's that scary, but I felt like he wasn't gonna hit anybody. It was just me thinking he was. Like, he put on the brakes a lot. He never hit anybody. He never even really. There was one guy he came close, but I kind of blame the guy. Like, look around. Like, what do you? He was just kind of like walking backwards. Like, you can't. That is, you know. So so the awkward part as a parent was like, I'm keeping up with him because I feel like at the last second I can tackle him safely to make sure he doesn't hit an old lady or a baby. That's what I feel like. But he thinks we're racing. So when I run up next to him, he's going faster. So it's either like, I mean, I could just make him stop like a parent would, or it's like I stay a little bit behind and risk not being able to tackle him safely so he doesn't hit an elderly person or anybody really. Like a normal child would probably take a hit from that. Or I race him and he goes as fast as he can, but I also am aware that he might be out of control. Like, when you race somebody and their primary objective is to win, like they're not thinking about all the other people. Like, we should have made it a rule, like you'd lose points for hitting people. But anyway, he took off. The wheels had lights on them, so it was just like these wheels, and he's on a scooter, and so we made it to the tournament. We found out there's a delay, and but there was a crepe place we stopped at, the something pan, the Magic Pan. It was on Seinfeld, and I was like, is that a real show? And then I went to the Denver airport, and it was real, and I don't know which came first. Magic Pan in Seinfeld, because Kenny Rogers Chicken isn't real, right? This isn't a Seinfeld podcast, but I do watch it like every night. It's like as a stand-up comedian, to see that show, it's like, okay, here's a show of a comedian who got to play a comedian with his name, first name and last name. And so everyone who watches that show knows he's a comedian. For 6 seasons, he got to do stand-up before the show and after the show. So, like, not only did you have a show, but everyone knows you're a comedian. And then all of a sudden, it became like some say the best show ever, like one of the best shows ever. So it's, and I've seen so many, it's easier for me to fall asleep after seeing something like that. It's like the dreams, it's like my older brother, when he played high school football, he'd watch Rudy before a game. And it was like, but you're not going to watch like the team that loses a lot before the game, right? I don't think they make movies about those guys. When I played high school football, we lost. We didn't lose all. We were 2-1 at one point. And, but I felt like we did lose, and I always wanted to like write something about it because I felt like I didn't feel like it was a story that needed to be told. I just felt like I spent my life in this situation, 4 years, 6 years or whatever, and I wanted it to mean something. I wanted it to win on some level. But I think losing is interesting. Maybe it is a story. Anyway, so I watch Seinfeld before I go to bed. And because if I watch like a show, like there's other good shows, like people like Parks and Rec or new shows. But if I watch a show that I haven't seen before, I'm like, I gotta finish this. And then I'm going to bed, I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, la 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 la. And so, yeah, I was talking about Jack Mario Karting Indy 500. So Magic Pan, that's right. So we get crepes, right? And I don't know if all 6-year-olds are like this. Maybe mine needs special attention. But we get a crepe, and normally when we go to a crepe place, they also have chocolate-covered strawberries. And, oh, Jack's 6, he shouldn't have chocolate. You are right. You know what kids do? They get you. Every single time you think as a parent, you're ahead of them, they're like, because The first time we went to this crepe place, we just got crepes, and I got strawberries in mine, and his was plain. And the next time we switched, that was a rotation. He would get strawberries, I would not get strawberries, and I was getting him to eat strawberries. And crepes aren't a lot of sugar. It was like, this is a meal. This counts. This counts. In the court of law, this would count as a meal. Why are you thinking about that? No reason. But then they had chocolate covered strawberries, and I was like, I have a taste for one. Never do anything fun for yourself in front of your kids ever. That's my message. Never. Because even if you say this isn't a thing that kids get, like, it's not fair, Dad. It's not fair. Like, for my birthday last year, my younger brother, was very kind. He got me like an old refurbished Nintendo from like when we were kids, because he took ours and he wasn't giving it back. I'm not saying that's why he did it, but like there were games I never got to play, and so he got me like one game and that, and it was like a fun thing, and it's not like super crazy expensive compared to like getting a new Switch or whatever. So Jack, this year for his birthday, he's like, I want to get a Nintendo Switch, and I was like, I don't think that's this birthday, you know? And he's like, but you got one for your birthday. That's not fair. I'm like, I got something I was like 40 years old, and you got to blow on it to work. So it's different. It's like you can see all the details of all the things, and what you're asking for. Mine, you're just hoping and you're enjoying the cool music. Man, those old Nintendo games have the best music. Maybe I'm biased because it's connected to a point in my life where I had nothing to worry about except, being a kid. How did we have time to do stuff as a kid, right? Because like I don't remember not playing video games as a kid. Like I don't remember being like, oh, I can't play. But I don't remember playing all the time. I remember playing outside a lot, and I remember getting homework done. And how good were my parents that they figured all this out? I'm like, we sit down to play a video game. I'm just like, well, that's good thing it's not first grade, because I feel like homework would be necessary in first grade. So anyway, Magic Pan. Oh yeah, so we go to this crepe place, and at one point, after multiple trips, over a couple months, like we know the mom that works there. I say mom because her son works there at night or in the evenings, and so we get to know the family. And we get to eat our crepes. It's right across the street from the library. I'm like, I'm such a good dad. We go to the library. We get a book. We read. There's a park there. We could play at the park. Not at the crepe place, but right next to it. It's like all set up. We have this whole system. And then at one point, I just look at that chocolate covered strawberry, and I'm like, I'm going to get one of those. And that's where it all turns, really. That's where it all... Like, if I were to bring it back to any moment, it would be the time when I decided to change the order at the crepe place. That's when everything went, because now we're not just getting crepes, right? And milk for Jack. Now, Dad got a chocolate-covered strawberry. Well, I want a chocolate-covered strawberry. And I'm like, no, this is just for Dad. Things are just for Dad sometimes. But then I realize, there's a strawberry in there. Right? And he stops eating the strawberries. We go to he's just getting plain crepes. This is interesting. I swear. So he's getting just plain crepes. He phases out the rotation of strawberries. You know how good strawberries are for you? They say when you have a cold, you just eat strawberries. I know Tom Brady doesn't eat them, but I think that's his own sensitivity. Like, just because he won all the Super Bowls doesn't mean we should do everything he does. Right? Like, don't do a roast when you're a millionaire guy with children. So strawberries, I'm like, I'm going to get him a strawberry. So he phases out the eating of the strawberry. I even did the game where, okay, you're not eating the strawberry, the crepe anymore. I am. Okay. So I take a little bit of strawberries and I put it on his plate. I'm like, hey, these are just for me. I just don't want them mixed in with the crepes. I don't know if I said the mixed in part, but it's like, this strawberry is just for me. Don't eat that. And it worked for a little bit because it does. That's a good trick. You're trying to get your kid to eat something. You just put it on his plate and say, that's just for me. Don't eat that. But you got to be really good actor. You can't just be like, that's just for me. Don't eat that. Kids, when it comes to doing a thing that's not their idea, no games. No games. It can't be a game, but it's got to be really believable. And I feel like kids have a thing in their brain, which is why a lot of the myths we tell them work, where they're like, they know that the thing isn't real that we're telling them. Like they know that. Why would I put this strawberry on his plate? I mean, like that's just for me. But what they value over controlling their own life is a game, especially one that's very well performed, as his father would like. Hey, that strawberry's just for me. I'm just putting that there, but that's just for me. But then when he doesn't want to do it, he's like, well, don't put it on my plate. Anyway, so he did that a couple times, but then he stopped eating the strawberries I would put on his plate, and he would just say, "Stop putting them on my plate, Dad." So now he's not getting strawberries anymore. Now he's just getting crepes, and he's really just liking the powdered sugar. So now I'm just eating strawberries. Now how well rounded is this meal? How well rounded? There's only eggs and things. So then I'm like, all right, here's your chocolate covered strawberry, and I get him a chocolate covered strawberry. Chocolate covered strawberry. We both have chocolate covered strawberry. He doesn't have dark chocolate because caffeine is I don't know, maybe it's good for you. I looked it up one time and it doesn't stunt growth from what I heard. Don't quote, this isn't a health, but so we do it. And he eats the chocolate and the strawberry, and I eat the chocolate and the strawberry. And I go back to feeling like I gave him a full meal with at least two courses, like two different food groups. Fruit, eggs. Yes. Yes. And I get a chocolate covered strawberry. Yes. Yes. And then he stops eating the strawberry. After a couple times, he's just eating the chocolate. He likes strawberry. I'll cut up a strawberry, and if it's a good day, he'll eat it. But now he's just eating the chocolate off of it. It's just chocolate now. I'm just giving him chocolate in the middle of the day for no reason. Like, I get it, kids are gonna want candy, but this was my move, buddy, and he flipped it into a free piece of chocolate. What am I ever not gonna lose? Is there ever gonna be a victory for Dad? Check. Dad win. Can I ever win the long game? Is that possible? And I would think like, oh, maybe today's the day. Maybe today's the day he'll eat some strawberry. No, he doesn't even want to hold it because it gets messy. So now I'm holding up, and then the guy that works, he's very nice. He's like, well, does he just want the chocolate? I'm like, no. At least if there's strawberry under there, the flakes might get into his system and help prevent a cold when he's older. I don't know how it works. So then the next time we go there, I'm like, we're not gonna get chocolate covered strawberries today. He's like, okay. So we eat our crepes, and then I want a chocolate covered strawberry because I'm used to getting a chocolate covered strawberry. So then we get chocolate covered strawberries, and we don't go back. We're just done. We don't go back there. I love it there. It's my favorite place ever. We'll go back eventually in the summer when he doesn't have to wake up for school. You give a kid chocolate when they're that young, it's just like, what are you thinking? Anyway, so we're in the airport, and I think when you travel, the rules get a little and so we go to the Magic Pan crepe place, and we order our crepes. And he's like, I want a chocolate covered strawberry, and I'm like, well, I set this up in you, and there is a chocolate place, the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Company, because if there's anything I know about chocolate, it was made in the mountains. I don't know, but I know in my head they don't have chocolate covered strawberries now. And I knew that before. Like, I don't remember ever, like, I feel like I would have bought them if they did. Like, I think there's a Vegas chocolate place in the Vegas airport that has chocolate covered strawberries. But this one, definitely don't remember of getting anything. But I'm just like, we'll go there. And if you're a parent or if you know about parents, you're like, your job isn't to please your kid, And I'm for that. Yeah, I agree with that. But we also are at the airport for, another 3 hours after that. And he's got a scooter, and we haven't really scooted a ton yet to realize how harrowing this journey is going to be. So I'm like, that gives us something to do. We're going to scoot to another terminal and just see what happens. And I have bags to carry, but I didn't go to the gym this week, So let's see. So we get on our scooter, and he's kind of sad because he didn't have a strawberry yet. And also he's sad because he didn't take a nap on the plane, and he probably is tired or whatever. But then he gets on that scooter. He's just taking off, and he's going and going and going and going. And then we could take the elevator because we're in a scooter, and he's really good at listening. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. No one gets hit. But then we get all the way to the other terminal where they have the chocolate, the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Company, in the United terminal, which it's not as nice as the new Southwest terminal. Come on, United, make it nice. I wish every airport was as nice as the last part of the Southwest terminal in Denver Airport. There is so much room. Like, we went to the bathroom. We tried to go to the bathroom in the bathrooms that were in the like non-renovated part, and I was like, there's not room for me and my kid. Like, I can't, like, I don't know, what age can you just leave them? Like, if you go in a stall as a parent, when can you just leave them outside the stall? There's all my luggage. So anyways, the bathrooms, the other ones have so much space. It's like, this is Southwest might not have first class, but that terminal feels like first class. There's like not beds, but there's like couches that you could lay on like a bed. There's tables, there's little nooks. I do feel a little jealous of the people that get a booth. It's purple, which isn't, it's like, oh, you're not pushing your blue color all over us. There's a play area, which was a little young. If you could put in some grown older kid stuff. Jack was like, there's a cool tunnel, and someone's stuff was like in the tunnel, but we didn't do that. Anyway, we get all the way to United, where they don't have a nice terminal anymore. And they do have a United, what's it called? The suite, not the suite, the United Club or whatever, which you pay you can get a credit card and get one, or you can buy a pass. And I've done that. And here's my thing about that. It felt weird to pay money to go sit away from the people. Like, I feel like I could have spent the same money at like, they have restaurants in there and gotten good food. The food's good in the thing. I don't know. There's one really good United club that's brand new as of a couple of years ago. So not brand new, but like, and then the other one's not. It just felt weird. Like, everyone was kind of, the time I went one time, it was kind of, everyone was crammed. And it's like, why are we crammed here? I heard Americans clubs are really nice. Anyway, okay. Let's stay on track. So we get to the United, we go to the chocolates. We've scooted the whole way there. And I've run behind being like, say, excuse me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Say, excuse, okay. Yep. We got to turn. One time he fell off of it. But here's the good thing. The scooter suitcase, highly recommend. TJ Maxx. It's rainbow colored. Jack likes things that have a lot of colors in them. And, it's not really rainbow. It's mostly blue, and then some other color, like some other. But it's like you're in a really fast thing, and the little thing that snapped the scooter back kind of broke, but you can still do it. You just, as a kid, you can't. And also the thing to lower the bar, kind of is broken too. But you can do some. You maybe get a good one. But we got ours, and the cool thing about it is like the suitcase is in front, so I just feel like a normal scooter. If you hit something or fall off of it, you're flying over the bar. But the suitcase scooter, it absorbs the impact. So when he does hit something, as long as it's not a person, like, it kind of takes it, and then he just kind of like has been okay, which I really like that. So we get all the way to the chocolate place, right? A whole terminal away. Like, we're not even with our company anymore. And Jack's like, Dad, are we going to miss our flight? Because he doesn't know how delays work, or maybe he does. Like, they can be like, all right, we're leaving. But I was like, we're okay. So we go there, and we're in the chocolate place. And first of all, Jack is like, does not like the smell of the chocolate place, which I'm like, we're here because you want chocolate. That smell is chocolate. What are you doing to me? So I got a blanket. I cover his face because now I'm here. I'm getting something. And I've realized too about the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Company. If you're ever looking for like good fruit at the airport, the chocolate covered apple, the one, I think it's like Chocolate Dream or something. It's like caramel with dark chocolate chips on top of it. My mouth is watering like literally watering right now. It's got a green apple underneath, which I heard is the healthiest apple. I don't know if it's the healthiest, but someone was like, this is a healthy apple. So apples already are pretty healthy. So I'm assuming it's the healthiest, because you wouldn't be like, this is a healthy apple, just like all the others. Like, you just wouldn't say it. So I got a green apple with chocolate chips on it. And that's maybe what it boils down to, is that's why I'm here, and because we got a whole huge layover. Or are we just gonna sit and have Jack be like, "What do we do now?" He's at an age where he does that. He's like, "What do I do now?" Like I remember when you were a baby, when you would just figure that out. Like when we couldn't talk, you just did something all the time. So go do that. But then I'm like, "Oh, well, you can run around." Like so. Anyways, we get there. Jack doesn't like the smell. I order my apple. There's no chocolate covered strawberries. None. Zero. They have chocolate covered cherries. Which like, how hard is it to throw a strawberry in there? Maybe strawberries go bad sooner. So, no, remember they didn't sell that well. I mean, it's like a different. So we're not getting chocolate covered strawberries, and my only faith, my only belief is knowing that there's other chocolate things here, and Jack's gonna be okay. So we get a chocolate covered Oreo, right? Okay, I get it. Not a good move as a parent. Why are you doing that? Well, I love them. So if he doesn't like it, I'm gonna eat it. And a chocolate covered graham cracker, because if he doesn't like it, he might have that. And not dark chocolate. I'm, responsible. So, and then he wanted gummy bears, so we get gummy bears. It's when you're traveling with the young, I feel like it's good to just give in on everything. So we check out, we walk outside the store. We are not in our terminal right now. We're hours out from taking off, but we don't really know that. I think it's still like, we think it's like an hour away. We're hours away. And Jack looks at me and he's like, "Will you carry you?" He doesn't want a scooter anymore because his legs are tight. He doesn't want a scooter. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll carry you. Yeah, you're 45. I don't know, 50 pounds. I don't know. I'll get my real workout. But then I also have to carry your scooter. That was what I was getting to with the story. Was my my overall downfall. Because they have a cool thing at the Denver airport. It's out. You have to go through, you have to leave security, which seems weird why they have it. But there's like a little green space where they had like miniature golf till 7 p.m. And I was like, that sounds fun. Jack's never played it before, really, to remember it. I was like, we could do that. But then I was like, I gotta carry all this stuff. Like we definitely could have made it and played and made it back, but I gotta carry all this stuff. And that's kind of the first time as a parent where I was like, we're not gonna go do the active thing. So, anyways, I carry him all the way through Terminal United, and then all the way through. I should have tried to scooter all the way through the Southwest, not renovated terminal. I almost said garbage. Nothing's garbage. And then we go back to the normal. I don't know if you've ever read any books by William Faulkner. They're hard. They're a tough read. Like, don't. It's not an audiobook thing. But there was one I had to read in college. I was an English major because I really thought it was fun to read. And I knew there were some books that would be hard to read. So I was like, let's read those with the teacher for like motivation, for like a grade. And so we we um we what was I gonna say? So William Faulkner wrote this book, and the beginning of it, I gotta Google it. I'm not gonna do a live Google right now. I just don't think it's the time. I got the recording going on. I don't want to hit the wrong button, and then this never happened. I want this to happen. So we're just not gonna find out what book that is. But it's about, the opening scene is this pregnant woman. I think she's pregnant, and is she carrying her son in her arms too? I don't know. She's just walking through the South, and the kind of story is like she has nothing, and she's pregnant, and she's walking through the hot South, and that's what I thought of. I can't say that's what I felt like, because as a man, I can't say that I know what it's like to be pregnant, not because of the world around me or the climate or anything like that, because that's true. I could not say that I know what it's like to carry a baby in my stomach and have to walk around. But I do know what it's like to have one grip onto your neck, and they need to clip their fingernails. I guess that's my job. When they're over 45 pounds and they're a part of you, and you're also carrying your backpack because you work, and their scooter suitcase, which you could have checked, and a school backpack for them, which they didn't even do their homework, and which is probably on me. And then a backpack with clothes that you hope your flight gets canceled so you get to use. And so, needless to say, we used the moving sidewalk. Um, so that's why you never do anything fun for yourself in front of your kids. Because if I had never gotten that's chocolate covered strawberry, he wouldn't even know what they were until he asked. And then I said, let's try this. But yeah, we had a good weekend. I was in Elgin, Illinois on Saturday. Elgin was the home of the Hemmons Cultural Center, which it's a really fun show. Beautiful. Like, I would shoot a special there if I had the material. It's not to judge my material. It's just the new one just came out in November. What do you all expect? Not you. Everyone's very nice. But I do feel like I'm doing jokes that aren't on the special because I want people to see a new thing. And then I'm like, but I don't even know if those people watch the special. I wish when people walked into the room, the comedy club, the theater, they could like check a little box and be like, do you want to see the special? Do you want to see the new stuff? Do you want to, I should just, because people don't know what they really want. They're like, I want to see the special. And then you do it and they're like, oh, I saw that. No, it should be like, have you seen the special? Have you seen all the special? When did you stop watching the special? And then I would just know, like, all right, 98% of the people haven't seen anything or ever heard me before. So we're good because as a comedian, there's a comfort level in material that you've done that's been recorded because you feel like it's done, and it goes places. It doesn't always go. You find new stuff. You relax it. Like, some people just get rid of things right once they record it. And I just feel like they're missing out. They're not taking into account the live aspect. I think the main goal as a comedian is to do a good show. And I don't think anybody has ever really seen a show where you did well and been like, I heard some of that. Like, I think they do definitely do that, but not everybody. So anyway, especially when it changes. But I do the new stuff, but it's not all brand new. It's just stuff that wasn't on the special that we're working on. So anyway, Edmonds was really nice. I had some friends, one from high school, someone who's known me longer than all of you, came to the show, and her and her husband are very, very nice, and they have children, and we talked about children, and that we're at 10% recording. Oh my gosh. I thought you were plugged in, phone. I thought you were plugged in. Anyway, we talked about, and she brought, her friends came. They all do like travel sports, and I have a joke about travel sports on my Instagram that people have been liking. So that was really fun to see them. And then my good friend Jim Flanagan was on the show too. And he's so funny. If you live in the area and you have a chance, go see Jim Flanagan. If you Google Jim Flanagan, unfortunately, usually the first search option is Gaffigan. And that's not who I'm talking about. We all know Jim Gaffigan he's great, but Jim Flanagan, also very funny. And so I got to see him, and we talked about RBI baseball, which is kind of a deep cut for people, but I don't think I've talked about this before, but the Nintendo my brother got me. So there's a game called RBI baseball, and it's the first, I don't know about the first baseball game. It's an early video game about baseball that had real players. Like, all the real players from 1986 were on this game from 1987. And all the statistics are real. And it's just fun. There's something more fun about playing with people that you knew in real life. Not as a person, but just you could watch them on TV. Like, I was pretty young, but you knew about them when they were older and all that stuff. So anyways, in 1986, which is, I was very young. Some people might have thought I wasn't even born, which, thank you for that. Thank you. 1986, the Mets beat the Red Sox in the World Series. And in Game 7, there's a player named Bill Buckner who plays first base for the Red Sox. And the Red Sox are winning. I think it's Game 7. I think this is the end of this World Series. But the story goes, it's not a story, it's real. The Mets hit a grounder to Bill Buckner at first. It goes through his legs. It literally, I think if you watch the video, it goes through his legs. He misses it. And he's at first base, so he's got time, And the Mets win the World Series, and the Red Sox lose the World Series. And you can YouTube it. There's a video where they show the video game version of that, and they have the audio from the radio broadcast, which is the former Dodger announcer Great, which his name is escaping me, which as an LA resident, you probably not good. Um, but when you're doing a podcast, you're just thinking, you're not, So anyway, um, so in the video game, which came out the next year, if you play with the Boston Red Sox, uh, every game I've played so far with the Boston Red Sox, when the first ball that's hit to Bill Buckner, the first baseman, he makes an error on. Every time it bounces off his head. That's how all the errors look, but it bounces off his head. And that's super funny to me that, it's sad. Here's why I think. Because if you're not a big baseball person, I'm trying to make it make sense. So, like, this guy made an error that lost the World Series. That's the story. I don't know the exact details other than I think it went through his legs, and I think it was game 7, and as the bottom of the ninth, and after it, the Mets won off of that play. So I kind of know all the details. But he made this mistake, right? And there's an episode of Boy Meets World. Corey Matthews, Ben Savage, Fred's brother, was in it, and he talked about how at one point how it would feel to be that kid's son, you know, because like your dad just lost the World Series for a whole city. And I don't know a lot about Boston, but I haven't really ever associated the word forgiving with their fan base. So anyways, Bill Buckner, I think he's probably 86, say he's 30. He might, I'm sure, I think he's alive. That's worth a Google, whether someone's alive or not. Okay. Is Bill, I feel bad drawing attention to it because, yeah, he's alive. Oh no, he didn't. He's dead. I'm sorry, Bill. By the way, to play professional baseball, you have to be very good, let alone being on a World Series competing team. But he's like a real person. And the video game people were like, well, every time he gets the ball hit to him, he's going to make an error. Not every time, but the first time. Because I feel like they're just laughing. And there is something about sports where it's like, you see the best and the brightest, especially baseball, the best players in the world do a thing wrong that you could do. And that's sometimes, unfortunately, if you're rooting for that team, but sometimes that's the attraction. Sometimes you get to see people do amazing things, and sometimes you get to see them do normal things worse than you could do. And that's thrilling. Anyway, so we were talking about that. And there's a video on it. We didn't do it, but there's someone that did the whole thing, and then Bill Buckner makes the error. And, I don't think it was in one shot. It could have been in one shot. That would be amazing. But, and then Sunday, I was in Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is really near Wabash, Indiana, where I grew up, at Summit City Comedy Club. And it was during the Pacers game. If you don't follow basketball, the Indiana Pacers are in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks. And they could go to the finals for the first time in a long time. Second time, I think, in the franchise's history. And first time since Reggie Miller. And they're up 2-0, which is interesting because they started out playing in New York. So if you don't watch basketball, New York hasn't been in a long time. And New York, even if you don't want, like a lot of like famous people live in New York. And when their teams do well in sports, they're all big fans. And I'm sure they're all big fans all the time. But I watched some of game 1, and it was like John Hamm was there, and he wasn't wearing Knicks stuff. John Hamm never wears the local team stuff unless he's at a Cardinals game. That's the only time. He'll go to like World Series and stuff, and he's not just putting on whatever he's at. So he didn't have a Knicks thing on. But he worked in New York a lot. Have you heard Mad Men? So he was there, Timothy Chalamet, Larry David. I'm assuming they're all rooting for the Knicks, but maybe not. But it is interesting when you see these people who are very successful cheering for a team and they lose. Like, I don't have sympathy for them at all because it's like, you're going to be okay. Like, one celebrity wrote when they were down 1-0 that they really needed this one, or maybe down 2-0. And I'm like, you're good. Like, I'm sure you have millions you don't need. The whole reason you did what you did is so you wouldn't need, but it's fun to root no matter what level you are of fame. But anyways, the Pacers were up 2-0. So a lot of people, I'm sure, are watching that game, and they probably didn't come to the show. And if you didn't come to the show and you live in the Indiana area, I'll be in Wabash, Indiana, September 20th at Eagles Theater. So that's for that demographic. So yeah, that was fun. Like I said, my brother, maybe that's my parenting issues. My son and I went to Chicago for the holiday, and we went to a White Sox game. No errors by the first baseman, um, and they won. And it was such a fun time. When your child gets to an age where they can like the stuff that you like I didn't push it on him. I mean, I did give him like a chocolate milkshake and part of a cookie and something else, so he'd be fine. But it's not like we didn't do a slushy too. Um, so we went to the game, my family and I, my aunt and my parents, and it was really really fun. It was cold though, and one thing I know about cold weather is sometimes kids don't like it. And I was like, we're not leaving early because this kid is cold. That's not going to happen because my parents always made sure I was well dressed for the warmth, and I feel like if they saw my son be cold, they were like, "We're just gonna go then." And I'm not a leave early type of guy. I'm a stay until security's like, "Buddy, it's over," type of guy. So I get him dressed. And my dad, who's the one that made sure I was wearing stuff that was warm as a kid, he was like, "You're not gonna need a winter coat for him." And I'm like, "No, no, no." So I flew with his winter coat because he's like, "It's gonna be 50." Yeah, but we're by the lake, and I've been to those games. I bought winter hats at a baseball game before because of how cold it is. So we get to the game, we're sitting outside, and and immediately before we even sit down, Jack has on his like normal shirt, and then another shirt, and then a sweatshirt, and then a jacket, and then his winter coat. I was like, we're good. And then my dad gets him a cool White Sox winter hat to cover his ears for the warmth, but also for the profanity around us. Because a lot of baseball parks, they have a little number that comes up on the screen. It's like, hey, if you see any activity that isn't appropriate, text this number and we'll come take care of it. And no one will know that you did it. And the White Sox did not advertise that at all. And there were 4 guys in front of us and a couple guys behind us. And by the time last call came around, they were very using a lot of profanity to the point where my son was like, "Can you tell them to stop?" And I was like, I don't think I can. Like it was a Friday night. It's not a kids game. The stadium hasn't said that you can't swear. Like I don't know what the rules are publicly about swearing around kids. Like we were sitting in our seats and they were good. Like we were in like a good seat. It wasn't like we're in the bleachers or whatever where it's like everything, you know. But these guys, I'm sure I could have said something. Maybe if I was a bet, I could have been like, "Hey." But even if there was a number, there weren't a lot of people in our section. Like I'm sure if we texted and they were told to like stop swearing, they would be like, "Oh, that was you." Like, and then that's not fun. But anyway, we got a winter hat for him, and then we went to the bathroom in like the 3rd inning, and I'd brought a couple pairs of pants, and so I put another pair of pants on him, and he was so bundled up, and they have this milkshake where you get to keep the cup, so it's awesome. And there's like chocolate molded to the milk shake glass, and there's like tons of whipped cream to the point where I got it on my pants because of my legs, which is weird. But he had some of that, and I was getting some drinks in because I was like, whenever my son gets something like good, like a dessert, and I'm eating or drinking, I'm like, this is to help him. If he drinks all this could really be a problem someday. So I do that, and he's just sitting there. And eventually, like we get blankets because they sell blankets, and he is all bundled up. And then he's still cold, so I take off my sweatshirt and I wrap it, I tie it around him, and so he's just a bundle of clothes, and he's happy. We get a cookie after the milk, which he ate some food too. You don't have to report anything, but what's cool about our seats, like they come to you. Like we had pizza, it was great. But it was Friday night, so there were fireworks afterwards, and I was so impressed. Everybody in my group stayed for the whole game and the fireworks, and I felt impressed with myself as a parent because we didn't leave because my kid was cold. Like there was no way he could have. Like at one point, he's like, "My face is cold," and I just threw the blanket, and he's like, "I can't see," and I was like, "All right." So there was no way. If he said he was cold, I'd be like, "We gotta go to the hospital because you are warmer than I've covered you with everything that could physically cover you." We had hand warmers. So it was very, very fun. He rooted against the White Sox because he's a Dodger. He was very confused about how to go to a game for a team that's not his team. And I don't have good guidance on that, because he's a Dodger fan and I'm happy for him, and I don't want to change him to a White Sox fan. But also, we're not gonna skip the game. Like he originally was like, "Can I just stay home with grandma?" And I was like, "Well, we can ask her, but it's kind of a whole thing, you know." And then he decided to go, and yeah, we made it by first pitch. We did leave everybody behind, but that was important, and we got there. I love it that he wants to be there for the whole game because that's something that I have. Anyway, this week I go to South Dakota. I'll be in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, on Thursday, and then near the monument, the Mount Rushmore Monument in South Dakota, in Box Elder, South Dakota. I'll be there on Saturday, this Saturday, and then Sunday I'm back in Yankton, South Dakota. I think it's Yankton, South Dakota. And then next week, I believe I'm in Spokane, Washington, not Spokane, Spokane, and then Seattle, Washington. I'm at Laughs. I love Laughs Comedy Club. And I love going to a city that has a club, and like that's the club. I'm sure there's other clubs that are good there, but like, and I get to do that club, and it's like downtown. Like last time I went I was told to go like kayaking in the bay, I guess, which was fun. I was kind of worried I was gonna fall in with my phone, but I did. I didn't at all. And I don't think I brought maybe I did because I took pictures. I don't remember, but it was very nice. And then the next week, I don't remember where I'm at because I just thought of that today. I was like, where am I the next week? And then I'm in Kenosha, Wisconsin, at the Kenosha Comedy Club. I almost said Waukesha because Wisconsin has a lot of sha. Kenosha, Wisconsin. And then July, I'll be in Miami, Florida, and Las Vegas. So that's what's coming up. Hope you all had a great Memorial Day weekend and had time with family and a lot of love and respect to everyone that's served, and especially ones that have lost loved ones and lost their own lives. I didn't want to say that, but it's something they did. I'm gonna go back after this and research how to make more room in my apartment. I'm looking to do a loft, but I have a queen bed. So, and I don't want like a super high one. I just want one to where, like, so here's my idea. I live in a smaller apartment, and I want to make, like, Jack does not like a playroom necessarily. So I thought it'd be fun to get like a mat with like where you could race cars, and I want to cover the whole room. And they have one at IKEA. Cause yeah. Anyway, that was just bonus. um. Yeah, I hope you had a great time with family. Shout out to family, friends. I know that anyone who was in Denver Airport yesterday that saw scootering, thank you for getting out of the way. I say that my son was in control, but I really know that it was everyone else just making sure they got out of the way. So I appreciate that. And I'll be posting more on social media, I think. I work on my emails. So stay in touch, come to a show if you want. My specials on YouTube. That's things I say every week. All right. I love you all and goodbye.